Welcome to the Fashion Forum podcast. I'm Anna Woods, founder of Positive Retail.
And I'm Ariana Waiata, founder of Aro Archive.
And today's episode is Reinventing Retail. Cool.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, it's nice to be here with you.
Yeah, lovely to meet you.
Shall we begin by you telling me your background first?
So I guess formally I'm trained as a brand manager, business finance, business management, but really I am born and bred under a market stall. Buying, selling, trading. I've been doing it for 20 years now, so since I was 13. I guess Aro Archive is, so we're like two big parts of the business. One is the archive, which is like a rental service for design houses, museums and institutes. It's like a library of clothes. Again, something that was never really planned, but is taken off in the past 7 years and was just one of my favorite things. Other half is the shop, so we specialise in Japanese, French and Belgian design, all pre-owned archival clothing. I guess my main thing in the shop is like inclusive ways of buying and selling. So we offer like cash buyouts to people in store, consignment, store credit, as well as offering deposit systems. So somebody can pay something off over 1 month or 2 months. I'm just very aware that not everybody has like £250 to drop on a comm jacket at any given time. So just wanted to have as many different ways of buying and selling as possible. And then because we've got the two parts of the business, it means that we can do anything out of there that kind of rings true to us as a team. So we do like a lot of kooky films, shoots, exhibitions and little parties and stuff. Lots of other things in the future, I guess, kind of based all around that, and just opened a new flagship store in Shoreditch. Yeah. What about you?
Amazing. So I began my career in retail 27 years ago when I was 15. I'm from the north of England, so I worked on the shop floor in River Island in my hometown. And from the age of 15 until I went to university, I was always a Saturday assistant in shops. And then I did a business degree like you. And when I finished and graduated, I moved straight to Topshop and I started as a trainee buyer in 2004. So that was, so 20 years ago, I kind of arrived in London, and it was, you know, in those days, it was pretty much that Oxford Circus store was the epicenter of, you know, and it doesn't exist anymore. So I've seen in 2 decades of my career in retail just so much change. So that was kind of my corporate career as a buyer. I left the industry as a director, and I set up Positive Retail the day that Topshop went into administration.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was leaving the industry because I was so fed up of the waste that we were creating with collections, and just felt like there needed to be another way. But I was like off. I'd done a master's degree in leadership. I was going to be a coach to the retail industry, which I still do 1 day a week. But the day Topshop went into administration, I was like, no, I've got to play my part.
And was that the plan?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I started to pop up Positive Retail 3 years later, now has 4 stores, and we are a resale brand. So it was really important to me to create a brand, not just kind of open, you know, Anna's shop, whatever. And we have partnerships with brands to take their surplus stock, and like you, with 2 arms of the business, we have that partnerships, and then we also have some pre-loved curated stuff in store, so nice labels, Comme des Garçons, Watanabe, etc. Yeah,
all the good stuff.
Yeah, and we have four stores, so Margate, Deal, St Leonard's, and soon to be Faversham, which is near Whitstable. So
nice.
Yeah.
And is there a reason you chose to pick retail outside of London?
I mean, look, cost as well.
Yeah,
I think I would have... Positive Retail was an idea that I had that I could really quickly act on outside of London. I did a pop-up store, you know, and I was kind of like, right, I'll test this concept of positive retailing. And it's just the uptake of what I was doing was, I honestly felt like people breathed a sigh of relief that they could shop. I don't really view myself, even though I am, as like sustainability first. It's a really wonderful added bonus to all the people that come in. But I genuinely felt like people would breathed a sigh of relief that we existed when I opened. So, you know, I guess we had a quick conversation before about rents and business rates and London versus, you know, I'll be honest, Margate there's lots of people that have moved there from London. There's a really big creative scene, a really big art scene. I feel like there's so much goodwill down there.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I've been able to test a concept with loads of support and and there's people like, it's just, I don't know, I just feel like there's an atmosphere of like, yeah, go and try it, you know? And I guess you open one shop and then you're like, oh, right, well, it works here, so I may as well try there. And so I've got kind of a list of, I don't know, about 10 places that I'm like, yeah, I know it would work there.
Yeah, amazing.
So what about you in terms of stores and...
I mean, as we were talking about, so like pre-pandemic, we had 5 separate spaces. So at the beginning of the pandemic, so I always ran the business as a family. It's a family business, founded by me, my mum, my dad. Beginning of the pandemic, my father passed away. I've always wanted to take over the business. I don't think I ever imagined it in such disturbing circumstances. So I think, you know, at that time, it was too much for my mum to stay in the business. So yeah, was kind of left beginning of the pandemic, you know, family in all sorts of different places and had these 5 premises and these 12 team members. So I just made this decision, I guess, like by myself, it was smarter to close everything down, pay 100% of wages, condense down into like one building, which was the Archive in Dalston, ride it out and just see what could happen afterwards. Little did I know, again, like I've always run the business with my parents. I don't think I was as involved in doing the paperwork of getting a property. So shutting down the 5 properties, you know, at the time was a smart decision. To get another 5 properties back, you know, like the cash flow and the amount of work to do that, I don't think I was prepared for. So we've just opened a new store 4 years later. And I must say, it's like, I talk to other entrepreneurs about this, and I'm sure you're the same. It's like you've got to be 50% like really smart and factual and 50% a total risk taker and a bit crazy at the same time. Because to get a place in London, as we're talking about with cash flow, I think you're emptying your bank account, you're emptying all your savings to make the deposit, to get into somewhere. And to most people, that's not smart. In some places, you just have to say yes to that. So that's kind of what we did for the Shoreditch place. At the same time, I managed to get myself a really wild deal there. So I'm not paying the same rent as everybody else in Shoreditch. I could not afford that. Made a really wild deal. Went to this other viewing. It's like very serendipitous. Went to this other viewing. My estate agent took me to Oval Space in Hackney. That's at big events. And he was like, come and view this property. I was like, I am absolutely sick of looking at properties that I cannot afford. Like, this is driving me insane, you know, because all I want to do is be back up and running, have a community safe space and kind of like get back on our feet. I cannot keep looking at these properties that are wildly out of my budget. He was like, just trust me. I turned up at Oval Space. It was like pissing down with rain. The guys were really late by like 20 minutes. Got there, it's like a team of dudes turned up, took me around this building. I think I was in quite a bad mood, and halfway through I just said, why are we here? Like, why are we here? And this guy was standing next to me the whole time, and he took me to the window at the back of Oval Space, and that looks over all the gasworks and the canal. And he said, you see, from here to here, I own all of it. And I was like, what do you mean? It's not the Lion King. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, all of this is mine. And I was like, okay. And he was like, what do you do? And I was like, I can't be asked to go into the whole thing. All I need is somebody to give me a fucking break. You know, like I'm a good person to take a chance on. I'll absolutely smash it to pieces. It's like, for all the right reasons, I just need somebody to give me a break. A couple of weeks later, my estate agent called me and said, you know that dude that was standing in Oval Space? He owns the shop that you were interested in Shoreditch, and he wants to give you a break. He wants to give you a reduced rent. He's going to offer you the building. You've got 2 years to make it work before we extend your contract. You know, if you're into it, we're ready to go. So I just said yes.
That literally makes me cry because I know what that will have meant to you and to the business, and I know what the decisions must have felt like that you had to make whilst you were in grief as well. So, wow, I love that guy for taking a chance. I mean, look, you know, retail reinvented, right? The key, I think, physical space, because that's what we're both in. I'm pretty bad at the internet. I know that I need to like focus on it further down the line. But I've chosen to, like you say, put my money into stores as well. I've had really good landlords. Really good. But I love that story that a guy he saw your passion and also just wasn't about greed.
No,
you know,
exactly.
and I think so much of fashion in the retail industry has become just about greed and volume and vastness and at the cost of like real humans that want to succeed in their businesses for the right reasons and actually provide something really amazing. All those arms of your business that you provide are just so cool.
I appreciate that.
But I had to close my first store in Ramsgate. We had a pop-up, then I had the store next door. My landlord there, Sean, was absolutely amazing. He was brilliant. And the road in Ramsgate was the original high street. I live around the corner from it, like literally 20 seconds walk. So it was the first store. We had an amazing time post-COVID when everybody was, you know, shopping local, And it just it went from being really good as a road to just so quiet. People then started to kind of go back into London And sadly, the road is a bit too residential. It didn't quite get the energy to stick, if you like. So that was a hard decision for me, you know, shutting that shop right on the corner from my house.
It's a hard decision, but also like it's very smart to know that you have to close that to move on into the future, because lots of people don't. They hold on to those properties for like 20, 30 years and it kind of just like takes them down the drain. So no, I think that's smart.
And it's
Big
about,
boss move.
I do too, I'm for you. It's about having the right energy in your business as well. And I was, you know, I love running the team. I love everybody that I employ is really important. You know, I'm sure your team are. And it was, you know, they were kind of sending me texts saying, Anna, I'm so sorry, we've not like taken many sales today. There's not been many. So you do have to just think, you have to constantly follow the energy of what you.
And do you think that's because, like, I don't know, do you do many sales online? Do you?
About 2% of our business is online.
Same. And do you think that's because, like, I think choosing like boots on the ground, community and customer almost overtakes what amount of money you'd make online if you do that well, right?
For us, I think because of the way my business is structured, so I've got surplus stock and then I've got some pre-loved stock, we sell out quite quickly.
Amazing.
So I need, which is great. But I need a pot of stuff. I'm doing a piece of work around it at the moment, like what is needed for this to work online? Because we've definitely got a really healthy like tribe following on Insta. I've never done any marketing, never paid for anything.
Amazing.
It's all been organic. But the stores are the marketing. And you in there talking and your team talking and, you know, I always say to the team, like, it's 50% selling the clothes and it's 50% selling the mission of what we're doing, you know. We're
selling the dream.
It is. So in terms of online, I guess it's a piece of work that is like, what will it take to do that and convert that? But I always feel like my natural like happy place is I can set up stores, I'm sure you can, you know, and visualise it with your eyes closed.
Yeah, for real.
But online I do find a little bit harder, but that's when you have to get people that are experts that you trust to help you. But
because we never had a website before the pandemic, so ours was just born out of the pandemic,
Okay.
And again, did really well whilst we were in lockdown. As soon as we came out, yeah, again, maybe like 1-2% of sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite proud of that. I'm
Yeah,
like,
me
do you know what?
too.
Start with the stores,
Me
man.
too, buddy. Yeah, for
Yeah.
real.
So tell me, like, what sort of an average trading week? Because I love being in the stores on
Yeah, me too.
Saturday. So tell me what
Me
it's
too.
like for
Do you
you.
still do shop
Yeah,
Saturdays? Me too.
Yeah.
That's something that I
It's
would just never
important.
give up. I mean, that's just my happy place. That could give me enough sort of momentum to get me through like the whole rest of the month. It's just my favorite place to be, and I think it's just so natural, and I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be, is on the shop floor selling to customers and just hearing stories. Like, I love when people buy things that they might not necessarily thought they could wear or buy or afford, and they go to an event or a wedding or a party and they came back and it's kind of changed everybody's perception of them and how confident they feel about themselves. Or just people coming in with favorite store memories. You know, I wanted to, the new shop in Shoreditch, I wanted it to feel like a family home on a mushroom trip. So somewhere people could also feel comfortable to come and hang out. We really wanted it to be like, if you just want to come and work, bring a computer, hang out with us, or just sit in the building, look through all the publications that are there, do some research, that it kind of felt like that. So I wanted it, you know, when you go to somebody else's house and you think, wow, this is like intense. I love visiting here. I wouldn't have this at my home. I wanted that type of feeling in the shop. So you want to be there because it's so insane, but you're also looking forward to going home because it's much calmer. And like, just had that chaotic energy of a family home where there's lots of things going on, and it may not be, you know, the cleanest, minimalist place, but there's always something interesting. There's always someone to talk to. There's a kooky story going on. There's a kooky film playing in the back. Yeah, just somewhere that was kind of picking up the responsibility also maybe of some of the other businesses that have closed down locally, and just having this safe space for all different types of communities to hang out.
That's so cool. And what do you mean by picking up the responsibility of some of the people?
I feel like a lot of smaller businesses closed down a lot of queer safe spaces, a lot of safe spaces in general for a lot of different communities. I feel like that's the other special thing about doing boots on the ground, right? Is you also get to adjust week by week, you know, your stock, your pricing, the way you lay out the store, but you get this real-time feedback. And yeah, picking up the responsibility of some of those spaces and trying to smoosh that into the store whilst also having a luxury premium service at the same time. Because I think when I was reading our little question sheet for today, and it was a lot about tech and how how we use tech to propel the business. Yes, tech can be used to enhance a customer experience for sure, but I don't think in a kind of like sales robotic, you know, pumping products in people's faces. I think that's very short term and just very apparent that it's about sales and making money and not caring about the person. So yeah, person first, sales next, overall experience in general. I just want people to feel special when they leave the store.
And have had a great experience.
Exactly.
I know, I was thinking about what you were saying about, you know, people coming in and remembering memories and stuff like that. And that I think we've got a really, really similar attitude to the way that we want people to feel when they're in our place and our stores. And I just thought that we had a moment in the store the other week. It was on a Saturday morning, like market was really busy and it was kind of just getting to like, you know, 1 o'clock and it was like loads of people in. And my friend came in and she is pregnant with twins and it was the first time she was telling me. And then somebody overheard, this is like a jewellery table that we were stood by. And then somebody overheard and he's a gay guy with a husband and they just had twins. So he was giving advice about twins. And then another woman came in that started with the conversation and she'd just had twins. And I was like, you just can't buy that online shopping.
For real, so.
Yeah, and just community and people, you know, you will feel this as well. Like, I feel like a lot of the time, our stores are, they're like a therapy room as well.
Absolutely.
You know, I enjoy that and getting deep with customers.
Absolutely.
And like you say, you know, people feeling great when they leave. There's nothing better than somebody, you know, because they come out of the fitting room and you can feel the vibe from them. And you're like, you have to have that.
Yeah.
Or the other way around, like, you're not feeling it and I can tell you're not,
exactly.
so don't do that.
Exactly.
You know? And you can't do that with online shopping.
No.
And, you know, yes, the high street has been really distressed for a long time. And, you know, a lot of that is because of online shopping and, you know, prices being decimated, etc. But I will always be a firm believer that the best retail is face to face.
I absolutely agree. I think that's how you create longevity as well. That's your bread and butter. That's your everyday. That's the people that are going to follow you into the light, you know, kind of regardless of what you're doing. I think that's why people seek people out like us.
Yeah.
I was also thinking about this in terms of like real premium luxury. So if you're like a Hermes clientele, there's no tech involved in that. You feel like you've got one sales representative that knows your size, the colours you like, you know, just how you work in general as a person. And it's this real kind of instant, hi, hope you're well. I've got this great blah, blah that I think you'll like. So really it's the kind of, I guess, like you're saying, the high street and this kind of middle ground that would be using tech in that kind of way that I think they're not understanding the this part and the this part, you know, which are the two parts that do very well.
Yeah, and making somebody feel like it is personalised and it's special. Like I went into our Margate store yesterday, Leonie was working there, and she was telling me a customer that had come in, bought a black dress. She looked amazing in it, Ganni dress, and she was wearing it for a gala at the weekend, and Leo was like, she didn't want to try it at first, and then she looked so good in it, and I caught the tail end of the interaction. And then she said the woman texted her. So Leo had given out her number. And she said last night the woman had texted her to say, I just felt great.
Yeah.
You know, and
I love that.
and that's real. And it's my belief that humans will always need humans. We need connection. We need chat. We need, you know, I just don't...
Especially post-pandemic, that is what the world is after, you know?
Yeah, it's so true. So your new store, how long have you been there?
6 months now.
Yeah, and it's going well.
It's going really well. I mean, like we're talking about shop, not being in shop for 4 years, 7 days a week, it's like, who am I? Where am I supposed to be? So being back in the shop, again, I'm slightly crazy. I've been there 7 days a week since July last year.
Might need to find some balance.
So after this, the team were like, don't you dare come to the shop. You are going home. I'm like, yeah, okay, thanks. But no, just being back is just, And I think you have this worry about not having a permanent store for 4 years, that maybe you're not relevant anymore. You know, maybe people have picked other loyalties. There's loads of other archive shops, especially in London, that have popped up in between. They're all doing a fantastic job. Stock's great, vibe's great, locations are fantastic. So yeah, you have this huge panic that maybe it's not going to be how it was before. And we've had people walk past our sign, run into the shop and are like, thank God you're back. Oh my God. You know, and back on the phone, calling their friends, like, these guys are back. And then you've kind of got these customers again that have been shopping with you for 16 years, disappeared, and now they're, you know, kind of back in every single week. It's just so nice.
That's so beautiful.
It's so nice.
So you have a lot of regulars as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, lots of people, 16 years plus.
Amazing.
Been shopping with us. Really, I think, again, because we do the inclusive ways of buying and selling, our superpower as a business is our variety in customers. It is every person you could possibly ever imagine, which is great because I get to buy every type of person rather than quite niche, you know, brackets of kind of hyped archival fashion. Then it's everything in one go, which is enjoyable. And then we've just added objects, furniture and books to the shop, which is great. It's another thing to hoard and buy furiously, you know.
And also something that you're passionate about as
Yes,
well, right?
absolutely.
I do think that stores need to be not just clothing.
No.
I think you do, because I have a local jewellery designer.
nice.
She designs in Ramsgate. She uses sustainable materials.
Yeah, nice.
One factory in Italy that sells really well. I'm really proud of her. And, you know, we've grown the business together. We also have... accessories, trainers, and we also have like a sex brand as well in the store as well.
We are just about to open a not safe for work 18+ sexy basement.
Love it.
So yes, same.
And they're all talking points.
Absolutely.
You know, and they're lots of people. Like I sold a vibrator to a grandma the other day, which
amazing.
was that was dream sale.
Incredible.
But they're all that. No way would she have gone online to do that, you know? And it was brilliant. She was there with a daughter and a granddaughter as well.
amazing.
Yeah, it was
that's
so
incredible.
fun. And I was like, brilliant. I love that we've provided that.
Absolutely, because then you're creating a whole, I guess, community around your like objects and brand. Exactly.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's just nice as well, because obviously I work with lots of different brands, but you know, the brands that I've chosen to partner with, like Margaret Howell, like Universal Works, like Sex Brand, I have such respect for what they do. And I wouldn't, you know, said, you know, brands are coming to us, and I kind of, there's some that I just think, no, I don't.
Yeah.
That's not right for us and our customer.
And I think that's another superpower of being an independent business, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you're creepy, I can say no.
Yeah.
If I've heard bad stuff about you, I can say no. Yeah. Do I want that around my team? Do I want to offer that to my community? Absolutely no way. That I think that's really special.
So you're just as fierce as I am with it all. I love that, because it is about an energy that you carry through your business. And if there is something that you're like, oh, I'm not too sure about that, like, just do not do it. No. I think, like you said, you know, to be an entrepreneur, you've got to be super mad and driven and logical. But you have the biggest thing is really following your gut as well. And being aware of everything as well. Absolutely. And I guess being aware of, because I was totally aware of you before this, so it's nice to meet today, but being aware of who else is amazing.
Yes.
And doing it in a way that you're like total respect for that, you know.
I think that's why it's really important for us all to connect and kind of have these conversations. I think this is something I've really learned recently. I think I've had my head buried in the sand trying to get stuff done for the past 4 years, and kind of coming out of that, having the new shop. I just want to surround myself with people that have the same experience and just understand. You know, that explaining to maybe friends of why you're not going out and socializing for the 6 months in a row. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm always going to pick work first. Yeah. Because I want this to work more than anything in the whole entire world. So having a margarita on a Friday means absolutely nothing to me at this point. But even having to re-explain that to people who maybe just don't really understand the slightly neurotic, insane drive you have to just like get it all done.
See, this is like therapy.
Yeah, I know, right? So true.
I completely agree with you, but I also think to reinvent retail, it does actually take that.
Yes.
Because there's been so much dominance, especially from my background. You know, I started at Topshop in those days. Yeah. We didn't know what we were doing to the planet, but the difference that has happened, you know, and it didn't feel like we were doing bad business. We weren't, in those days, we were, you know, doing a lot of, I was always a shoe buyer, so lots and lots of shoes at home, but we were working with supply. It just felt like when I started my career, perhaps for the first 10 years, people were getting a fair deal in the supply chain. You weren't, you know, hammering suppliers down. You weren't saying to your team, not that I ever did actually, I was never working, you know, even though I was working for people like Philip Green or, you know, I just never bought into like, yes, we need to make profit at all costs. It's just, when I started my career, I was so lucky that the leader that was at Topshop was Jane Shepperton, and she was just incredible. And I'm so glad that I saw that leadership example, because
that's amazing.
It was. And now she's like a really good friend, advisor to the business.
Amazing.
And just somebody that I really respect. And I think I didn't question things for the first sort of 8 years in my career, and then I moved to a British shoe retailer, and there was a moment that they were owned by private equity, and I was in a strategy meeting, so you had to go and do a strategy meeting every 6 months. And I said to I was head of buy-in, and I said to the merchandising director, we need to not work in this specific factory. Said me and the technologist have been like, it's not right for the business, the conditions aren't right. And he was like, I don't give a, as long as you're getting me an 82% margin, Anna. And I was just like, are you serious here? Like, what? And I guess, you know, then my eyes like really awoke about what bad business really looks like and where things were going, you know. And I was in corporate retail, if you like, for another 10 years. And, you know, just the culture as well that there's been on the high street of when I first started all those days ago, there was never like discounting culture that we've got now. I don't know what your stance is on it, but I'm trying to reinvent retail in the fact that I don't do sales, I don't do promotions.
Same.
Yes.
Well, we do one big sale a year.
Do you? Just to tidy
Just one.
up?
Yeah, we do no discounts. Everything's really fair price.
Yeah.
Do one big sale a year where we do 75%, up to 75% off for 1 week. It's a chance for us to clear loads of stuff, give people an absolute bargain and kind of start again fresh. But I also agree. There's also this, I think, as like founders of a business, when you work in the shop, or if you're a maker, if you're selling your own art, your own craft, that you quite often undervalue that, right? So when somebody asks for a discount, you almost feel obliged because you also believe in yourself that it's maybe not worth as much as you've where it is.
Of course.
And all this kind
Even
of back
more.
work and being an independent business and treating people fair, paying people fair, that deserves the price point that you've set for sure. So I am with you.
Yeah.
No to that, I agree.
It's horrendous to see the way things have gone. So, for example, when I was like a trainee buyer, you know, 20 years ago, we would all wait for the 10% discount code at Net-a-Porter. Like, you'd wait, you would wait for it. And that was 10% off, you know, because that felt like a massive treat. But now, Black Friday, like, and Net-a-Porter is constantly like, oh, have 50% off your 10%, have 60% off your 80%.
And that's like
mad.
Okay when you're talking about big brands, maybe like huge brands. When you're talking about independent designers and then their stuff is always on 50, 70% sale, and that's only when people buy. That's why small brands can't survive, you know? But then I also understand because people don't have the money to maybe buy it, you know, outright in the first place. And I guess that's why businesses like ours exist in that middle ground of offering premium luxury but at an affordable price.
Completely. And I think one thing that my business has proven is that I can put the value back into garments. So say something comes in at Universal Works, for example, and it's 250 quid coat at the beginning of their season. It will go into a mid-season sale and then it will go into their end-of-season sale. And then they might do a sample sale and then it will come to me. And say it was started off at 250, it ended up, I don't know, 100 quid. I will put it back up to 200. And my audience and my stores want that and the stores command it. So there's something about, I feel really proud that I've put value back into stuff and honoured the design work and the integrity that's gone into creating collections because, we are in this quite vicious retail cycle of, you know, the season's there, it ends there, right, okay, let's just mark it down and then let's pile on a whole new season. I've been part of it. I remember designing one of the last collections and just going into the design room. And that was my favourite moment. You know, the designers had worked really hard to do the boards and I just thought, we're here again. Just doing the cycle again, and we're going to buy it so we make a certain profit figure. We're not going to buy it to the demand. We're going to only sell probably 15% of it full price. Then we'll have a massive chunk, and then we'll have to job a load off. It's like, I just can't. I can't. And it's a cycle that so many retailers are in. So, and it's why people like Fraser's are going gobbling up, you know, distressed retailers and then putting them out of business so they've got no competition. So, yeah, I am firmly reinventing retail, as are you, in the sense that, I refuse to be caught in discounting culture.
Yeah, agreed.
And I just think because something's 2 seasons old or a season, if these are brands that I'm partnered with that make stuff to last, like Margaret Howe, Universal Words, they really think about what they do, you know? And it's like, why should that then be really cheap somewhere? It just shouldn't, you know, it's just wrong. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Oh, so we're definitely on the same vibe here, for sure.
Come down and see a shop.
You must, and likewise.
Yeah, I love that.
I guess, like, I'm really curious about, you had the 4 stores and then you closed and then you had 1. I've got 4 stores now. What's kind of the future for you for?
So future, I mean, one, I want to move to Paris.
Lovely.
Two main reasons. One, for the archive, all our clients are there. Import-export charges are wild. Just be quite smart business. That's quite boring. Smart move to be in Europe. Second of all, it's quite dry, white and thin there, and I feel like we're a little bit spicy. So we could definitely bring some sort of community-based, interesting retail and archive to Paris. I think it's really needed. I think we'd do really well there. That is the big future plan is I really want to be the Institute of Aro. So I want to have somewhere that offers free education, and not free education as in you still have to pay for transport, food, childcare, stationery, etc. I want to be able to make as much money as a business that I can offer completely free education and cover as many expenses as I can, offer on-site childcare, and offer tailored learning to different groups of people, whether that's, you know, like learning disability on the spectrum, you know, in whatever way, be able to tailor. And maybe all the things like, I'm sure you agree, all the things that I wish somebody had told me when I first started. How to hire and fire your friend, you know, how to do your accounts. Yeah. Small things, big things, you know, anything in between. Our team is so varied and we have such an incredible skill set together and separately that we could offer this education I feel would be like revolutionary, and I want it to be a recognized qualification, even if it's something like an ILM equivalent of a qualification, and be able to offer like incubator for small business, offer studio space, and kind of just have, this institute that is from the ground up working for the community, but also offering them a luxury space at the same time. So that is the big dream, as well as having archive in Paris. And I think, like you, I've got lots of other spots around Europe that I want to open a little shop. Some in some quite competitive business moves. Some in I would just absolutely love to be there. I just want to continue as I am, really. I just want to keep doing the same thing. I want to make people feel special, change things in small ways, big ways. Just be a good person and do good business.
I love that so much, because it's so much more than just having the archive. I mean,
absolutely.
Of course, which is amazing in itself, to run and to have and to nourish, but also that your wider mission is actually reimagining how you can help people, actually.
I feel like that's a bit of a responsibility you have. It's maybe like an independent business or a working class person, that it's like, why do you want to be rich? I do want to have money. I do want to be rich, but what for? So I can do all of these other things that nobody else seems to want to do, even though they're making 50 times what we do, you know? So it's like, yes, there's an end goal of making a lot of money. And I think a lot of the time people are scared about talking about money. They maybe think it's a bit gross, but money gives you freedom in a sense of all the other stuff that I want to do. So I do want the money. And that is the plan over the next 5 years.
I completely agree. I love it. I love it. So, and it will happen. It will 1,000,000%.
Because like you say, when you get a shop, when you can see it, I think this is like when you can see it, it's gonna happen, right? And when you can see and feel people moving and interacting in your space, and you can even see the general overall vibe of what it's gonna look like, a light switch, a floor, a table,
100%.
plus the person sitting at the table. It's like, yes.
It's
you can
so
see that.
beautiful. I love it. Similar to you, I guess the bigger mission for us, like I want to do the US as well. I definitely want Positive Retail to be the resale destination for brands to come with their surplus. But I guess in terms of money as well, at the moment, like I've got 4 stores, I privately own it, but there's, I'm thinking about getting investment from the right sources. And let's be honest, as females, we get 2% of all investment. So my wider mission would be, like you, to help young female retailers who want to, eventually to have like an incubator to help young female retailers and to, like Fashion Retail Academy, but positive retailing, because it's been so bad.
Yeah. So and I think that's something that is a massive difference being a female founder, for sure. You know, like in every single thing. I mean, we were talking before. I've gone to meetings and somebody said to me, "What? How old are you? Like 12?" Really? And I'm like, "That is wild. How old are you? Like 150?" They're like, "You can't say that." I'm like, "You've just called me a child."
Yeah.
And also, like, I'm going to leave, but thanks. You know, like, thanks for playing. I'm just not. I just will absolutely not have that. It's just a wild. That you even think that you are allowed to say that, or do you know you're dressed for a meeting?
I think for so
come on,
not cool, man. And we get to be able to say, "Shut up," you know. I think for so long as well, because I worked for, it was all the CEOs were white, older, middle class guys,
You're also so far removed from what's going on right now.
It's like, backgrounds, and you're like, what on earth do you know about the product? Not all, but a lot. And I guess something that Positive Retail is really passionate about is actually uncovering the truth and being honest about what is going on in the industry. So I mentioned Frasers before. Like, they've just obviously put matches into administration. They'll put Coggles into administration. They're gobbling up competition for dominance, right? It's run by Mike Ashley. He's got his son-in-law as the CEO. My business received a targeted ad recently, sponsored ad about Frasers Fest. And Frasers Fest was a celebration of the Frasers Group and all the profit that they'd made. And 2 weeks before, I was talking to small factories that had made the Ray Matches own brand products and trying to work with them to take their surplus in the stores so they could recoup some money. And I'm like, I got this ad through, and there was 3 photographs, and it was just like a massive group of 35 mainly white people. I think there was 4 people of colour, 3 women, and it was just all these leaders in retail that Frasers had invited that were just like this bro fest, and it just felt so tone deaf, so old, actually. So I did a post about it on LinkedIn. I mean, I was fuming when I saw it. I just thought, no, those people that you've put out of business and those people that have lost their jobs, those freelance stylists that worked for Ray that have not been paid, like, it is not okay. The two aren't separate.
No.
You can't go celebrating when it's based on misery. It's just wrong. And I did this post mainly because I was just fuming and spoke out. But it's important to me to speak out about these things. And it's been shared like 65,000 times. There is so much feeling about change. And I guess, we are playing our part in that.
Because again, that's a real big boss move, because I think, again, most independent business owners are quite scared to speak out on things because of the backlash, towards your business. And you often think, like, I will say something like that when I get to this point. Actually, when you do the kind of support, you're like, oh, yeah, this is...
Oh, yeah, and it was...
Obviously, we should all be doing things like this.
I did the first one, and then the amount of DMs that I got from people that had worked there, that had had really bad experiences, I was like, oh, well, there's a sequel in this post, and anonymised with their consent, some of that. It was a big boss move, but I was like, I can't not talk about this, because my business is based on telling the truth, you know, about what is going on and playing my part in the change. So,
Amazing. Well, go you.
thank you.
That's incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. I could have chatted all day. Give me a hug. I'm going to come and see you. That was lovely. Thank you. And well done with everything. I'm going to